Hi everyone. How's everyone doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Good, yeah.
Doing fine.
It seems like there are fewer of us today, but maybe people will join a bit later. I don't know if a lot of people already finished the show and maybe done with this whole MCAL. I'm not one of those people. So my plan was, because I have done so much traveling in the past 2 weeks, I'm actually having a bit of a knitting funk when I don't even feel like knitting at the moment. So I was I was at Rhinebeck, then I came back for one day. I did the Rhinebeck recap. I did laundry, packed, repacked, and flew to see my daughter in North Carolina. She's studying at Duke now. So I went to see, well, my husband and I, we went to see her. We were there for like 3 days, and then we flew to Florida to visit my parents, celebrated my birthday there, talked to you guys from Florida and North Carolina, and just came back Monday, like late at night. And I thought I'm gonna finish the show on my plane back to Boston, and I just slept through the whole thing. Like I didn't feel like it. I actually did need at the airport one row. Had to redo that one row 4 times, and I decided that was enough for the airplane knitting, because I was knitting that reverse stockinette, or it's not even reverse stockinette. It's all like purl bumps, the main color row. And somehow every time I would stop to readjust my yarn, I would switch to knit instead of purl, and I would figure it out at the end of the row. So it would be like 600 stitches later that I would find out that I made the mistake somewhere like in the 1/3 way on the way. So at some point I was like, you know what, I'll deal with it later. So I am, and here is the spoiler alert, I did 3 stripes fully, and I have still one row to go on the 4th stripe. So I have still 1 stripe of main color, 1 stripe of complementary color to finish, and then the bind off, I-cord bind off, which I've heard so many people moaning about. But on the bright note, I definitely still have yarn for to finish this stripe and the next stripe. So definitely enough yarn. I wanted to ask you guys, what's your plan for the I-cord bind off? Like, are you planning to use the main color or complementary color? So I'm thinking that most likely, like when I get to the end of the 3rd stripe of main color, my plan is to then weigh whatever yarn I have left over in the main color. And Stephen said that we should have 12 grams approximately of whatever color you're using for the I-cord bind off. I feel like I might have enough, so I'm not entirely sold if I want to finish it with the main color or if I want to finish it with complementary color. I mean, that decision might be made for me, but tell me what your plan is. Anybody wants to share the progress and just like your thoughts about it? Let me know. Katherine, join me.
I wanted to go first again because I'm at work, and so one never knows what the phone is going to do. I'm planning on, I'm not there yet. I just finished the first repeat of the inner, and I'm really loving it. I had thought originally I was going to reverse and do purple, turquoise purple for the middle one, but there's so much purple pooling in this, and that when I laid it down flat on the floor, I thought, I think I'm just going to keep the repeat with the turquoise in the middle all the way through. I am planning on binding off with the contrast color held with a single strand of the turquoise mohair, so it's not so it'll end with the turquoise edge. And I have I am about to attach the second skein of my contrast color. So
Okay.
I've made it all the way here with the one skein of the contrast color, and I have this much left of my main color, so I'm thinking that I should be okay because we're getting small now.
Right.
And so that's I had a late night last night at work, so I'm not as quite as far along. I'd hoped to be finished that part at the end of last night, but no. But I should be finished it tonight, and so I'm just really pleased with myself because for the first time, I am going to be starting the last section of Clue 4 before the end of October.
Right.
So I'm really pleased with how it's going. Of course, I have all the ends to tuck in, and I totally get the having to put it down on the airplane because you're purling instead of knitting, and that there's times when it's like, yep, this is telling me to go to bed, or this is telling me to do something else now.
Well, I have another drama to discuss with you. So I did finish that part that you're working on, and somebody, Valerie, I believe, DM'd me on Instagram and said, yours is wrong. It's supposed to look like triangle. Yours look like squares. So it's because you did something wrong. So I went back and forth. And if you look really close up, which I don't even know if
I could see your triangles from where they were.
Right. Like they are triangles, but they hard to see with like such high contrast color. And I noticed on yours, it's same thing.
I can see them in person. They don't show up as well on the screen. I don't know if it's the camera or the lighting, but when I laid them down on the ground in my office to take a photo, they're definitely, and if I look at them, they're definitely there. But they don't maybe pop out as much as some other people's. When I was knitting them, the definitely the three-dimensional aspect of it was visible. I don't know how it's going to look when it blocked, but I could see them when you held yours up to the screen. I could see the garter stitch triangles.
I think it's also like depending on the light and depending on like which triangle you look at. And in my case, because they are variegated, complementary color, it just sort of like mixes it in more somehow, and it's harder to spot them. So I was doubting myself through like two of those, right? Like I was doubting myself here first from the last Zoom, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna pay real close attention to the pattern, and I knew I wasn't making a mistake because like I was like really making sure that I do it the right way. So I was like, it's either it's mistake of Steven or it's right. But then like when you look closely, you can definitely see textural triangle. I just think it's like one of those things that some colors show it more than others. So
and some light. I do believe it's also the angle of the light.
Right. Or maybe even the angle of how you look at from where you look at it. How long are your needles? Do you know like how long your cord is? Because I'm trying to stretch it just to see how. I've seen some people blocking the shawl and it came out like a schlanket. It's enormous. And mine doesn't look that big. And I'm very loose knitter. So I'm actually like trying to assess if it's just a trick of my shorter cord or if it's going to be really big.
Mine seems to be, I didn't measure the length. Right now I'm on my short needles, my 100 centimeter needles. I have 120 or 140 centimeter needles that I will use for the other end. But I should have actually maybe it's got a long, let me think here, tip to tip. It's more than my arm span. But it's not quite deep.
Right. But I noticed that like once you go in, it's somehow like, I don't know if it's visually shortens the shawl for me or it pulls it in, because like when I was on the second clue, it just seemed like really, really long. And somehow like once that inside's closed, it's pulled in all the corners, and it's like it's more manageable size-wise than I thought it's gonna be.
I'm hoping, because it does seem to be, it was easier when I laid it out on the carpet
Right.
in my office to get it into more of a semicircle shape instead of like a long strip. So I'm hoping that as I finish that it's going to turn into a more proper semicircle. So
Right.
we'll see. But yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be okay. It's not going to be as big as Aurora Cabin. My Aurora Cabin had 1,086 stitches for the I-cord bind off. And it was a semicircle, grow from the center out. So that was probably another skein of yarn bigger. And it's great. It's gorgeous. It's nice and warm in the wintertime. I'm starting, probably we have a fall break, 4 days off in the middle of around Remembrance Day in Canada, around November 11th. And that shawl will be coming back afterwards because now that sort of marks winter. And the office, I've got windows back here, and if it's cold outside, the cold just kind of radiates forward. And so I like to have something over my shoulders when I'm sitting at my computer station. So
Right.
right now, like I said, I'm still loving it. I kept worrying about having enough purple mohair, but then I realized I'm not using it in the I-cord bind off. So I'm going to do one stripe of the wavy, with the contrast color replaced by the purple mohair. But then the first and the last are going to be the turquoise, the contrast color. So I should have enough.
Right.
I've got more on order from Punk Rock Unicorn. It's coming, just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Okay, Isabella, do you wanna join?
Here I am. Well, I am not finished. I am a little further than you. I don't know if, where is my screen? Yes, here. The top is over, and I just started the last main color, no contrast. I don't know, the dark one, which is the last dark one, and then I think, should I put the blue or the gray? And I think I'll see it when it comes. I have enough of everything, so it's really I can choose.
Right.
It is long. I'll put only half from here to here. It is long. This is half of it.
Do
The
you
other half.
do you like larger shawls, or do you prefer smaller shawls in general?
Of large and long, and I think this one will be. It's not blocked, so it can be stretched very much. This is the stretching.
Right.
No, I really love it. I love it.
Do you have a favorite clue? Like we've been through two clues right now. So do you have a favorite?
This one, the fourth one.
Yeah.
This one, the center one.
Do you mind long rows?
No,
Okay.
no. I can take them with friends and it doesn't bother me because I know them. This one I would not have worked with friends because it was very complicated. You cannot see my triangles, but depending on the light, they can show. But the triangles are not so visible, and I much prefer the squares.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you. Barb, do you wanna join me? Just unmute yourself, please.
Okay, got it. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Hold it closer to you because otherwise it blurs. I don't know.
No matter where I put it, it blurs.
Yeah, I think
Well,
it's now, like it's a filter on your background and this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
now we can see it.
all right. So this, I finished this one. It's blocked, and I did use the I-cord double
Okay.
on for the mohair double on the I-cord, and I think I like the triangle clue the best. I thought that was fun. I really liked it. And then I have my blue one I'm almost done with. And I put this one I'm keeping for me. You can't see it again. I put beads in it. I put beads there, and then I put beads down in between the brioche. So I made some I-cord and some beads.
So, like, have you been knitting nonstop? Because this is 2 big shawls and you're ahead of all of us.
I know. Well, I'm retired and I've got a lot of time, so.
Do you like doing the same thing like twice? Is that, do you entertain yourself by doing different, like adding beads here or like using mohair there?
Yeah, I change it up a little bit. Like this one, I put beads in. The other one, I don't normally like to do 2 of the same thing, but I like the pattern so much and I wanted to use that colorful yarn. So
Right.
I started off with the blue and then I thought, ooh, I really think this would be pretty with color changing. So then I made the second one.
No, it's very impressive. I like the. Do you have a favorite? Like, do you prefer one to the other?
You know, I think most people prefer the colorful one, but I really like the blue one with the beads. So I'm going to keep the blue one. I think it'll go with a lot of things that I have, but I like the colorful one. I'm going to give that away. I just don't know who I'm giving it to yet.
Well, there's one lucky person out there. Be really nice to Barb, and you might get that as a surprise gift.
That's right.
Well, thank you for sharing it.
All right.
Maya, do you want to join me?
I'm not done yet. I was also traveling, but I'm very close to be done with the top.
Mhm.
And my both colors are variegated, but it's difficult to see, but I'm very pleased with
You
my
can see the-
triangles.
Yeah, you can see the triangles.
I think they look good. Like it's more texture than color difference. So, and I like it. I used like my dark mohair,
Mhm.
and here I used my light mohair, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do to the in the center, if I'm going to go back to the dark or just not use mohair at all.
Right.
So I will make this decision when I'll get there. and after that, I'll probably weave in the ends and let it rest a little because I have like tons of other projects to finish before I go. But I am going to add the border. I don't know exactly what, but I will do it. But the other thing I wanted to mention, when I did this tiny bubbles, I had to switch to another needle
Mhm.
because like I'm working with wood needles and I had to go. I have very sharp needles, like
Right.
really. So when I did the like 3 together, I just had to use this needle. Otherwise, like that is very blunt and that didn't work.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
actually had like some people were suggesting to use smaller size needle for the bubbles. Some people were switching different types of needles. So there was like some variation with like how to deal with those troublemakers. I know that like one time recently I've been Adi gifted me a set of Adi needles, unicorns, and I was trying to knit actually this shawl, and there is a lot of knit 2 together, and I struggled so much with those unicorns, and then I came home and I just switched to Chiago's and it like flew through it. So sometimes just like the right tip crucial for some certain tasks. So I can imagine that it makes it easier.
the other thing, I still have a nice amount of my contrast color, my first skin. So like,
Oh, the first day.
yes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I don't know. I really didn't use. I can find it now.
Well, that because you used a lot of mohair, right? Like you used all the
Yes. Well, yeah. So in the border, I basically, yes, I used only third of my contrast color triangles are contrast color. The 2/3 are mohair. No, actually half, sorry, half, because I alternated, but still, oh, here it is. Oh, here, that's what I have left from the first skin, so.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of contrast color, but this is the second skin. So you
Yeah.
have more
But
than
I absolutely love it. It was a pleasure. I'm so happy with how it looks. And definitely something I'm going to wear.
Do you think you're gonna block it, like once you tuck those ends in, just block it as a finished shawl on the?
Probably not. No, I'll wait till I'm done. I may wear it, but
I think actually,
but,
like if you pull those, where are those triangles? Like if you pull
yeah.
those ends, like it's gonna look really good just as a finished
Yeah,
without
yeah.
the
But I do want to add some border, but I didn't decide yet. I'm going to wait a little.
gonna, yeah, one of the lazy January evenings when all the gifts are.
Well, I wanted to be done before Wog Knitting Live, so.
Yeah. You know what? We're gonna do reunion of Mkal participants at Wog Knitting Live. If you guys coming to Wog
Yeah, that would be fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we'll meet for drinks or something, and like spend some time
I'm,
together.
I'm a game.
Okay, sounds good. Patrick, do you want to join me?
So I've been working away at this Clue 2 still. I'm just at the last portion of, or the second, I just started the second brio section. But I decided to do something fun with the mohair. I don't know if you can see here. The first bubble, I just did the contrast color, and then I did, for the second bobbles, I did with the mohair. So it gives it kind of a, and then for the third one, I'm going to do it just plain contrast colors. So it has this kind of mirror effect. I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah, that's
so,
a good idea.
Yeah, it's just a way to spice up the, I don't have a lot of colors, but it'll give it a little bit of contrast. So I think that'll be fun. So.
Well, you also mentioned that you're going for like a grass kind of feel with it. So it adds that extra like little highlight of that you see the variations of colors in the grass.
Totally. I love that. Thank you.
So are you enjoying it?
I am enjoying it. I was kind of sick yesterday, so I didn't work on it, but I'm feeling better this morning. So I hope to get lots done on it today.
What excites you more, third clue or fourth clue?
That third clue looks kind of boring. Everybody says it was really kind of boring. So, I mean, the triangles look kind of cool, but the fourth clue, it looks like mosaic stitch. Is it mosaic or?
It's not really mosaic, the fourth one, but it's.
Oh, it isn't.
Yes,
it looks kind of like it.
Well, there is some like sleeping stitches. I guess it's partially mosaic. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fourth clue, and I like that wavy border, so I'm definitely going to be adding that to my shawl. So.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna be cutting the yarn in the in those triangles, or you're gonna be trying to hide it? Because
I haven't.
If I went back to that, I would try to hide it after
really?
hours of trying to like put those loose ends in, hide them.
Is there a spot on the Ravelry forums that they tell you how to do that, or?
I don't know, but my advice to you guys who haven't done that clue yet is to try to figure out. Actually, we have somebody who has done it. So if you want to share how you did it, I think they were hiding it in the I-cord portion.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would suggest you try it at least, because that's going to make your life much easier in the end.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Catherine D, do you want to join me?
Hi, yeah.
Hi.
Just to comment on what you were just saying about hiding the I-cord, I did try it, but because my contrast color is so bright compared to my main color, you could see it showing through in my I-cord, so I abandoned it and started cutting, but then I weaved it in as I was going. doing a bit like the Weaving Stephen, but the one that I think I shared a few weeks ago, where it's more like how you do when you change colors in Fair Isle or something, and you're weaving it every other stitch, because I find that a bit neater than the Weaving Stephen.
Right.
And so then in progress, I'm just here, just on clue 4. And the middle stripe, I did the mohair. Originally, I tried mohair held double, but that turned out real messy because in the bubbles, you know, it would end up 6 strands of mohair if you held double, and it just looked too big and a mess. So I went to single, which is hard to see on the camera, but it's showing up much better size-wise than the other. And I was originally thinking I wouldn't do the huge border on the bottom here, because I'm not very tall, and so I prefer my shawls not to be so deep here. But then when I see the pictures of everybody's, I like the look of it a lot. So I'm like, maybe what I need to do is just 1 or 2 stripes on the end rather than the number that are in the pattern, just to kind of neaten it off and finish it off. And then in terms of what I'm going to use, I'm not sure, but because my contrast is so bright, it's kind of the most thing you see in the shawl. So I was thinking maybe not to do that in the border, maybe to do like a combination of the mohair and the lighter color in the shawl, just to kind of balance out that contrast a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, coming back to those triangles, the only thing I want to say that, like, I sort of still wish I was hiding those ends because they're poking in which direction, and I did really my best trying to hide them. But I think if you hide it on the back of I-cord somehow, because when you do this wavy border, you pick up the back I-cord stitches, so you don't really see the I-cord as much. It's just like a separation. So like maybe there is a way of figuring it out. So if anybody has done that successfully, share it with us, because like I sort of when I was cutting all those ends and weaving them in, that was intense. That's like took me quite some time to do that.
The only other issue I wanted to ask if people had is where I picked up here for section 4 is not very neat. See how messy it is, and it's got like random holes in there. I don't know if my selvage was looser than most people, but then I did see 1 or 2 people in the Ravelry group commenting that they had that issue as well. And like 1 or 2 of them I can close, but it's not very neat all the way along. So somebody said that they was even thinking of doing a crochet chain over that because it was so messy. So if anybody's got any ideas or comments about that, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I didn't have that trouble. Like it's closed pretty. I mean, there are some places where it's a little bit loose, but it's not visibly loose because it's like the same color. So it sort of hides it. I don't know. Like if somebody had any problems with that, just join and like let us know. Hidriki, do you wanna join me?
I abandoned the shawl, not because of the pattern, because I really loved it. When I saw clue 4, I was very pleased. But the kit I bought was a mystery kit, and I really did like the colors, but on the graphic side, I wanted to be more graphic. So I was a little bit because I also really like to finish the show on time. It's not important, but I really like that to keep up every week. So I decided to wait for another kit board.
Okay.
So I start again with the colors I really like, because I went overboard with the mohair. Because of I don't like the color combination. It's not that what I like, and so I make the bold decision to make one again, and with another kit.
So
So
what
I I went with this color, but I had enough. This is one with a little bit of glitter, a
Mhm.
little bit of sequins, and this is a real gorgeous emerald. That's really. But this is the color scheme I chose. It's
Okay.
not this wool, but the colors. So I really like the graphic portion of the Clue 4, and I saw that I also needed it. Clue 4, but not with the border, but I stopped when I was finished. I think it deserved more love of colors.
Right. So you're waiting for the new yarn now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but like think about it. You benefited from like all the mistakes that happen along the way. So you're coming now and you know exactly what you want and what you like and what you don't. And it's going to be much easier and much faster for you.
I wrote every suggestions when I did. I thought, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And so I also ordered some beads because I really like those ones with beading.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see yours. So keep tagging.
well, I got time. I got time. So I'm gonna be quick because it's not really challenging with the stitch pattern. So and I also made errors that I thought I had to do it the other way, but no, it's going to be perfect because I want to have this show.
Well, keep once you start knitting it, tag me on Instagram whenever you post your
Yeah,
posts. I'd be
of course,
curious to
always,
see you.
always. Okay.
Joy, do you want to join me?
Hello.
Hi.
So again, I'm so far behind, but I do have the beads, Enrique. I have the beads. I put it on my rainbow. Oops, darn it.
That's so shiny. Yeah.
Yes. And I put sparkle all over except for the bubbles. I didn't add the sparkle on the bubbles. So Catherine's question about the crochet on top of the join for clue 4. I would be careful using crochet. If you're going to top stitch on it, it's going to tighten up. So you have to loosen your tension if you plan on top stitching on the join where you pick up your stitches for clue 4.
Okay,
Otherwise,
thanks.
so when you stretch it, it won't stretch too much. Actually, that's the trick when you do crocheted handles and straps. You top stitch so it doesn't stretch too much. So just be very careful.
Right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Kate, do you wanna join me?
Hi, everyone. I've been lurking here for a while and working on this shawl, but I'll show you. I used Stash, and it's not my favorite colors, and I'm far behind. Here are my colors.
So you're using 4 different colors. Okay.
Well, I'm using the mohair together.
Right.
And or I may vary it later, but I'm still in clue 2. I must say that I am kind of struggling with this shawl. I've never done mosaic before, so I keep getting stuck on the mosaic, and it's just patience. So I have to keep learning it. And I love the shawl. I love where it's going. I love the architectural complexity of it and its design. I think I'm very excited about that. But it's so huge. I don't know if I'm really going to use it or wear it. And so I kind of wish it was going to end up smaller. And now that I'm into it, I don't know how to make it smaller. So it seems like just a really big project. So I'm just throwing that in there because it's right now it's a little hard for me to keep my momentum going on it. I make mistakes, and then I'm a couple stitches off, and then I'm going back and trying to find it. So anyway, that's been my experience so far.
I hear you, because like I'm coming from a little bit different angle to it. I was actually bored through a lot of the clues, like through a lot of parts of the clues. Not like every clue had something interesting, and every clue had something that I was like, I just can't, right? But because I really liked the way it looks overall, that what kept me going. And it's also like a little bit, that's part of the mystery, right? We don't know what we're gonna get. So you're going just like, you're concentrating on just the stitches that's on that row, and you're doing your one stitch at the time. And the process of it is somehow like healing at the end. Like it's just more about the process than the final look for me. So I'm actually curious if I'm gonna love this shawl as the final product, or just as a process of knitting it. Like so it's one of those individual things. Like for some people, they learning something new. For some people, they just love the look of it.
Sure.
So we'll see at the end. Like it's all.
Well, I think that's the advantage of doing the project and listening to other people's experiences with it. That's what I've enjoyed about it. What I really fell in love with was I think it was in the second meeting that you had. It was your designer. I can't remember her name right now, but your designer who said that she was wearing it, and it was these beautiful pastel colors. And that shawl, which was just at that point, just the first clue, I think, or the first or second clue, a long straight shawl. I thought, well, maybe I'll stop after the second clue if it's taking me so long. Because I thought that what she had just draped around her shoulders made a wonderful scarf. Right. And it was very beautiful. I can't remember her name right now, but she had some beautiful colors in that shawl too.
Yeah, it's funny because like I felt that way after the second clue. It was like a beautiful sort of like wider scarf. And I was like, you know what? I would be happy with that being
end here.
Right? So I think it's like that's the part of the mystery. And maybe like a lot of people did stop there. Like I saw on Facebook, there is like a couple groups that do the Mkal, and somebody was like, that's it, I'm done. Like this looks perfect for me. I know I'm going to be wearing it and I don't want to go any further. So like that can be a decision.
Well, I want to go back to your point about boring versus the mystery and because I'm not a beginning knitter. I mean, I've done a lot of knitting in my life, and I'm pretty good at it, but I'm quite slow. And that slowness on these really long, repetitive, simple patterns, it's helping me to learn it, I guess. But it's not exciting. It's not something that's engaging, and I think that's why I'm making mistakes. It's not engaging enough for my brain to really grasp onto it. That, especially the mosaic right now, which is what I'm in. It's just, okay, over and over and over and over and over. And once in a while, my, yarn over slips off, and then I have to go back and find it. And I'm learning that, but it's not particularly interesting. And I find myself thinking, why do people love mosaic so much? Things like that. Because I think a more interesting pattern might have engaged me just a little bit more in this particular project. Anyway, that's my experience.
I think because I've been traveling so much in the past, like 2 weeks, it sort of was a perfect project for it, even though, let me tell you, to travel with like all of that and extra yarn, it's like, that's why I don't have any more hair there in my third and fourth clue, just because there was like no place in my bag anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's a little too bulky for it, but I feel like if you don't like, it sort of reminded me of sock knitting, which is like no insult to anybody who loves sock knitting. It's just not my cup of tea. And a lot of people bring socks because it's like this repetitive, small motion. And to me, that was the same. Like, not a single row really excited me. I think
Mhm.
the most excitement I got knitting was the very first clue before all those rainbows connected. Like, and I feel like once the rainbows connected, it was.
May I add one more thing? Just uh, it's a tiny thing, but it has been very moving to me. I wanted to add beads to my shawl, and I couldn't figure out where or what color, and my colors are kind of unusually dull for me. But anyway, I was toying with that, and then I couldn't find. I have some beads, but I couldn't find a small enough crochet hook to go through the beads. But many years ago, I inherited from my aunt, who was quite a needle person, a whole bunch of very old tools. And they've been in a box for many years. And anyway, long story, I ordered after I again saw your Zoom meeting, and I ordered a crochet hook as recommended by one of the people who was on there, and I got it, and it was really not exactly what I wanted, or it wasn't. I was putting it away, and I was putting away in this old box. I opened the box, and there in the box were all the stainless steel tools that my great aunt had given me, probably in about 1969, that could have been used for this project. So I'm just doing a shout out to all of our ancestors who may have left us important information, as well as actually tools sitting in someone's attic somewhere that would have been useful for this project. So
Such a
thank you
wonderful story.
to my aunt.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of times certain things are just forgotten or not used, and you don't know how useful they are, and they just there in that big box, you know.
Well, here's one of them right now. It's just very, you can see how this is one of the ones that she had. They all have different numbers on them. I can't tell anything about what the numbers mean on crochet hooks. They go from, this one is probably a 1 millimeter. It looks larger on the screen, I think, but they go down way below 1 millimeter. Right. So I don't know what she was making with them, but obviously she was making something very fine.
Yeah, maybe fine lace doilies or something.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing it. Lise, do you want to join me?
Hi there.
Hi.
I am still on clue 1. I'm getting to the place where I'm about to do the bubbles. I've got my 8 rows there and love my colors. Watching all the videos and how this shawl has developed, I'm tickled that we're starting in the middle. What a fun way to construct this. This was so unusual. And I am very excited to be moving along at my own embraced pace. I love the pattern. I'm looking forward to getting it done.
Well, what clue are you most looking forward to?
3, actually, or no, 4. I like that top fill-in section with the mosaic. I think those are really, really, really beautiful. Yeah. So I think that's going to be fun. But I'm also looking forward to learning the brioche, because I still haven't tackled the swatching yet. That's going to be after I get my bubbles done. I'm going to try swatching and seeing how I do with brioche. And if it doesn't work for me, I'll go with the eyelets.
I think
but I haven't made that decision yet.
Yeah, I think it's going to work for you, because this is like a perfect project to learn brioche. Just because
I think so too.
It's very simple brioche. There's no increases or decreases. And it repeats over so many stitches that you get it. By the end of the first row, you got it. You got the
I'm really looking forward to it. I love it. And all the colors that all of you have done are so beautiful. It's been such a joy to watch everybody create.
Thank you. Tanya, do you want to join me?
I was just gonna kind of piggyback off of what you had said earlier. Hold on, there's a pop-up on my screen. I don't know what. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I was just going to piggyback off of what y'all were talking about earlier on, you know, either not locking your yarn or, you know, I don't know. One thing that kind of struck me, and I was just thinking about it, is that I had knit several of Stephen's shawls previously. And then like kind of before I really knew about the mystery. And then, so my first one that I actually took part in the mystery was the twists and turns. And I liked that one. And we were going through a really hard time that year. And we could not afford for me to spend any money on yarn. And so I kind of like hodgepodge some junk that I found in my basement. I mean, it was not pretty, but like, and then last year I was able to buy some yarn that kind of went together. And I really liked the geogradient pattern. And I thought that was really interesting and everything. But I also, I learn a lot when I'm doing these, and I've gotten to feel like I love my twists and turns. It's ugly as sin, but but I love it because like it let me know that I can make something beautiful with whatever I've got. I don't have to get the fanciest. I'm learning so much, you know, and I've gotten to the point, especially with the mystery knit along, and the other thing is that I do so many tests that I like to have a pattern to go by, but I don't got to follow it exactly. You know, I'm not going to count this row. I'm just going to pick up where I want to. And I don't like the way that that's going. So I'll just, you know, hide my floats in the I cord and be done with it, you know, that kind of thing. And I like I'm going to learn a little something, get some new skills, make something with my community. And I feel like that's the spirit of what we're going through. And I just like, I cleared my needles. I have another test knit now, but I love that about this time of year and this particular project. That's all I was going to say.
And I agree with you because I notice also like as I grow as a knitter and the longer I'm doing it, the more my approach to knitting changes. Like at the beginning, it was I see a pretty project and I just have to have it and I make it and I learn something, right? And now it's like I do also like a lot of test knits. And part of it is like, I want to see how the designer thinks. I want to see what techniques they use. I want to see like how different it is from other things. And I don't necessarily get attached to those projects. And there is somebody who would appreciate a gift of hand knitted object, like whether you love it, whether it fits you or whether it doesn't. But for me, it became more about the process. And this particular show, like I was with my mom yesterday, actually, in the morning, and she was like, so what are you going to wear it with? And I said, you know what, like it didn't even occur to me. Like I'm knitting, I'm going through the process of it. It has not crossed my mind to think whether I'm going to wear it, whether it's going to be on my mannequin or whether it's going to be a gift to somebody. You know, it's like, I'll get there when I block it. Then I'm going to think about it.
Right. Well, and oh, I was going to say something else, and now I can't think of what I was going to say. But
just asking if you guys not in Knitters Gonna Knit, which is my group on Facebook, please join. It's a great community. So, like I asked recently, I posted a picture of me wearing one of my sweaters, and I asked people there, "Are you wearing your knits?" And there was like basically like three kind of answers. One was like, "Of course I'm wearing. Like, why would I knit it if I don't wear my knits?" And the other ones would be like, Sometimes, it's mostly like lying on the shelf. And then the third one was like, well, it depends like how well it fits. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I wish I wore it more. And for me, it's sort of like it became, I do wear my knits, and some of them are like my favorite thing to wear, and I wear them all the time. And then there are others that I love knitting. I enjoyed knitting and I like the way it looks, but I never wear it, just like there for display purposes. So I guess it's not really important as long as you enjoy the process of it, whether you wear it or not.
Right. I think that's kind of something that I was thinking about too, because like, I don't know if you remember, because I'm the one with the 100 whips and I don't even care. So, but it's like what I like about knitting is that I can pick it up and do the project that I'm loving right now. And if I don't love it tomorrow, I can do something else. I just, it helps to keep that joy about it, I feel like.
Right. Katherine, did you want to add something? Okay, join me.
Yeah, I had a thing when the person was talking about the gaps and the holes when she picked up for clue 4. And I noticed when I was starting that particularly in the triangle section, that was the first one that came to mind, where he said knit 2 and make 1. And I had 3 clear black selvage stitches. And if I knit 2, make 1, I'd have a hole at the beginning or the end or the middle, depending on which stitch I skipped. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna pick up and knit 3 across the triangles. And then there were a couple of places where the selvage stitch was really, really loose. And I thought he said somewhere in there, or pick up, close to it. So what I did was I went 1 stitch down and picked up and knit, and that tugged up and closed the gap. And then when I got to the very last one, the instructions were kind of weird, because it was like knit to the end, knit to the beginning of the last triangle, the end of the selvage stitch, and then skip across to the I-cord edge. And you've got this, and even on his video, there was this huge honking hole. And he was like, oh, well, we'll like fix this up with the edge of the stitch. And I went, no. And I backed up and I undid the last 3 make ones. And I went across and I picked up and knit in every stitch and made it to the end. So I have no holes. So I either went to the one below if the selvage stitch was really, really baggy, or I didn't do a make 1 and I knit into all of the stitches so that I wouldn't be skipping stitches in order to have to not have holes. So I'm very pleased that I don't have holes. So if you haven't got to that stage yet, obviously if you've got to that stage, you're kind of going to sew it up with yarn later or something to get rid of the gap. But if you're still on, finishing clue 3 or whatever, when you get there, like, don't skip a stitch and then make 1, because then you've got holes. And if you have a very baggy selvage stitch, go to one of either the stitch below or the stitch adjacent that tugs it up and gets rid of the holes. It is possible, and it worked for me. And so I mostly followed Stephen's video guidance, but when it didn't make sense, I did something that made sense to me so that I didn't have holes.
That's actually a great tip. Yeah. It's sort of like when you need socks or when you need gloves and there is this little spot right here when like there is a hole so you like make do basically. So yeah, it's a great tip that instead of making 1, you can just pick up 1 from the row below and close that gap. Thank you. Patrick, did you want to add something?
No, I did. I had my hand up from before.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Dorothy.
But it's nice to see you, Katherine.
Dorothy, join me.
Oh, sorry. So did you guys start an hour ago?
Yeah, so is it this is that time of the year when every country has different day when they change the daylight savings. So I figured that when I saw that you joined like closer to the end, I figured something happened in Portugal overnight and it's not the same time anymore.
Yeah, so I thought it was 10 minutes early, so I'm an hour late. But I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I just wanted to say that I've been harping on for the past 2 years, oh, I want a long stole, and I realized, oh, I could. I'm going to finish this off, and then I made what's supposed to be here. I made a cow.
Oh my God.
Because I can't leave well enough alone. And my colors are all off. I'm going to redo it, but I'll figure out some way that, because when I did those horny hats with the extra, everybody was writing on Instagram, oh, I want the pattern. I want the pattern. I was just making it up as it was going along. But I know I'll figure out the pattern for this, but I'll make sure that it is, you have to buy Stephen's pattern because I'll refer back to it and it'll just be for free. So that'll get there. I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. So it was my own design. So I got to shoehorn it in somewhere.
Well, ironically enough, we just talked about it before you joined, that it's sort of like knit your own adventure, and that some people prefer the look of the narrow scarf and just finish with clue one. And you did the whole like wardrobe out of this for clues.
Because sometimes you just want a little something underneath the jacket, or not a huge, humongous shawl. So I love Fair Isles, but after the neck, you get bored. So here I just did the most fun part of a Fair Isle or a stranded knit. So it's the best of both worlds.
No, it's totally a cool idea. I love that. Yeah, you definitely have to like write it all up, and it's going to be extra for Stephen's pattern.
Maybe I'll wear it at Barcelona Knits.
You're coming to Barcelona? Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
You just made my day. We're totally hanging out. I'm actually going to be there from 13th to 19th. So yeah, you and I have to spend some quality together.
For sure. You'll meet all my knitting friends.
Sounds perfect. I can't even tell you, I'm so excited. It's going to be my first international festival. It's not my first time in Barcelona. I've been there with my daughter before. So I feel like I got out all the touristy stuff last time. So I don't have to spend, not that I'm going to regret going to La Sagrada Familia again, but it's not a must anymore. So I'm very excited to meet some new people and see some old friends.
Yeah. And give me some yarn. I want some yarn.
Yeah. We'll see what Barcelona has to show us.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And I'm thinking that Saturday is going to be the last two Zooms officially. We might do some reunion later on when people finish their show. But I'm thinking that it's a perfect time to do that question and answer session for Martin and I. So somebody suggested last week, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, that Martin should interview me. And I thought, well, why Martin should interview me when all the humans of Westknits can interview both of us? So I want to ask you, I'm going to post this video on YouTube. Go into the comments and leave questions, anything you want to know, anything at all. And we're going to answer some of those questions on Saturday. So Saturday, there's going to be two sessions. One is going to be 12 p.m. Eastern, and I believe it's still the same time. But when you're Googling, just Google New York time zone and see where you are in the world in comparison to New York, because the time change is happening at some point. I think it's November 7th or something like further. So I think next one is still unaffected as far as Vigo, as far as Boston and New York time zone goes. And the second session is going to be at 7 p.m. So that's for all of those of you who have some better things to do during middle of the day on Saturday, or if you are in New Zealand or Australia, we're doing it a special meetup for people from there. So I hope you guys gonna send us all the questions and we get to not only see the progress on the show and do all the show and tell, but also answer some of your questions that you might have. So please just leave those as comments under the video on YouTube, under this video on YouTube, or DM me or email it to fiberchats@gmail.com, and we'll see what fun questions you have for us. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And till next time, happy crafting, everyone. Bye.